There is one thing AI has been trying to copy since the beginning. It still can't, and it never will. Not because the technology isn't advanced enough, not because researchers haven't tried, but because what makes humans irreplaceable has nothing to do with intelligence. AI can write articles in seconds. AI can generate incredible designs. AI can analyze massive amounts of data faster than any human. And every time humans said, "This is the one thing AI can never do," AI surprised us. So what's left? The answer is not what you expect, and once you hear it, you will never think about yourself the same way again. In 2013, a study from Oxford made a prediction that most people ignored. It suggested that nearly half of all jobs could eventually be automated. At the time, it sounded theoretical, a distant idea, something for economists and researchers to debate. But history never changes loudly. It changes quietly, until one day the change becomes obvious to everyone. Today, artificial intelligence is no longer theory. It is part of daily life. It writes, it draws, it analyzes, it solves, it predicts, it creates, and it does all of this faster than humans ever could. So people started asking the obvious question, what can AI do better than humans? But that question is already outdated because AI is already better than humans in many technical tasks. So the real question is deeper and more uncomfortable. What can humans do that AI will never become? Not temporarily, not for now, but fundamentally. To answer this, we need to understand something first. Machines are built for optimization. They take input, they process patterns, they calculate outcomes, and they choose the most efficient path. No emotion, no hesitation, no internal conflict, only function. Now compare that to humans. Humans are not optimized systems. They are meaning-driven systems. And meaning is not efficient, it is not logical, and it is not predictable, but it is powerful enough to override logic itself. That is why humans do things that make no sense from a purely rational perspective. A painter paints even without success. A musician plays even without an audience. A writer writes even without certainty. A scientist continues after hundreds of failures. From a machine's perspective, that is waste. From a human perspective, that is purpose, and purpose changes everything. Look at history. The Wright brothers, two men in a bicycle shop. No funding, no institutional backing, no guarantee of success. A purely logical system analyzing their situation would have concluded the probability of success is extremely low. The rational decision would have been to stop. But humans are not purely rational systems. They are belief systems wrapped in biology, and belief can ignore probability. The Wright brothers didn't stop, and they flew. Now look at Thomas Edison. Thousands of attempts, thousands of failures. From a machine's perspective, that is inefficient iteration. From a human perspective, it is persistence with meaning. He did not see failure as rejection, he saw it as refinement. Not because the result changed, but because the meaning behind the process changed. He was not optimizing for efficiency, he was optimizing for impact. And here is where something critical appears. Humans are not defined by intelligence, they are defined by interpretation. Two people can experience the same event. One sees data, the other sees direction. One sees failure, the other sees feedback, and that difference determines everything. Today, AI can generate ideas in seconds, it can write strategies, it can simulate creativity, it can even mimic emotional tone, so people assume the gap is closing. But something important is being misunderstood. AI does not experience meaning. It can describe it, it can analyze it, it can even imitate it, but it does not feel that something matters. It does not wake up with intention. It does not carry desire. It does not struggle with purpose. It simply executes based on probability and patterns. Human behavior is not driven by logic, it is driven by identity. People do not act based on what is correct, they act based on who they believe they are. This is why two people in the same situation make completely different decisions. One chooses safety, the other chooses risk, not because of intelligence difference, but because of meaning difference. Now imagine a world where everything is optimized. No emotional decisions, no irrational persistence, no risky innovation, only efficient calculation. At first, it sounds perfect, but then something disappears. No art, no discovery, no breakthroughs. Because breakthroughs do not come from efficiency, they come from resistance, from people going against probability, from people ignoring logic for something they cannot explain. AI will continue to improve, that is guaranteed. It will become faster, more accurate, more capable, but something will remain outside its reach, not because it is limited, but because it does not experience existence the way humans do. It does not suffer uncertainty, it does not chase meaning, it does not feel loss, it does not feel hope, it does not feel the tension between fear and ambition. It simply computes, and that difference is not small, it is fundamental. If AI can outperform humans in logic, and if AI can simulate creativity, and if AI can imitate communication, then what remains uniquely human is not performance, it is direction. Humans decide what matters. AI optimizes how to reach it. Humans define meaning. AI executes tasks, because without meaning, intelligence has no target. Without purpose, optimization has no direction. So maybe the real advantage was never intelligence, maybe it was never speed, maybe it was never computational power. Maybe the real advantage was meaning itself, because meaning cannot be calculated, it cannot be predicted, it cannot be copied, it can only be lived. And that is why humans are still not replaceable, not because they think better, but because they care about what they think about. So the final question is not about AI, it is not about technology, it is about you. What would you still do even if the world gave you no reward, no recognition, and no guarantee of success? Because whatever your answer is, that is the part of you that no system, no algorithm, and no machine will ever replace. If this video made you think, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you have an answer to that question, tell me in the comments. I'll see you in the next video.